20 years of marriage ended with a single sentence. I deserve to be happy. Those were the words my husband said before leaving me for a younger woman. He didn't just walk away from our marriage. He took our savings, our dreams, and the future I thought we had built together. I felt completely lost. For months, I struggled to put the pieces of my life back together. Little by little, I learned how to breathe again. I learned how to smile again. And then one rainy evening, everything changed. There was a knock at my front door. Standing outside was a woman I had never seen before. She looked nervous. In her hands, she was holding a thick folder. Tears filled her eyes as she looked at me. Then she quietly said something I will never forget. "I'm sorry, but you deserve to know what your husband has been hiding." My heart started racing. I stepped aside and invited her inside. And the moment she opened that folder, my entire world stopped. My hands were shaking as I looked inside the folder. The woman introduced herself as Emily. She wasn't there to hurt me. In fact, she said she had been carrying guilt for weeks. Emily had worked closely with my husband's boss. Recently, she had discovered things that made her deeply uncomfortable. Inside the folder were emails, financial records, and documents. As I read through them, one truth became impossible to ignore. The woman my husband had left me for had been using him all along. Their company was under investigation. Most of the assets he had proudly moved into their names had suddenly been frozen. I sat there in silence. Part of me felt angry. Part of me felt sad, and another part of me simply couldn't believe it. Emily looked at me and softly said, "I thought you deserved to know." Before I could respond, my phone started ringing. I looked at the screen. It was my husband. For the first time in months, he wasn't confident. He wasn't proud. He was crying. Then I heard the words I never expected to hear. "Please," he whispered, "I need your help." I closed my eyes. Because at that exact moment, I remembered something he had completely forgotten. As I listened to him cry, memories from our past came rushing back. I remembered the promises he once made. He used to tell me that no matter what happened, we would always stand by each other. But when life offered him something new and exciting, he walked away without looking back. And now, after everything that had happened, he was asking me to save him. I stayed calm. I listened to every word. Then I quietly wished him well. I told him that some lessons can only be learned by facing the consequences of our own choices. When the call ended, I didn't feel anger. I didn't feel revenge. For the first time in months, I felt peace. Weeks later, a letter arrived in the mail. It was from my husband. Inside was a heartfelt apology. But as I read his words, I realized something important. I no longer needed answers. I had already found something far more valuable. I had found myself again. I smiled, closed the envelope, and placed it aside. And in that moment, I finally understood something that changed my life forever. Karma was never about revenge. Sometimes karma is simply the freedom to move on.